Okay, today we're going to apply some text effects in Adobe Illustrator using the Appearance panel. Let's zoom in over here. So we're going to recreate this text up on top here. And this is totally editable text. There we go. And we're going to recreate this using this text down here. So let's click on the text. I have my Appearance panel is out. Now when you're working with text, what you want to do is you just ignore the original black color here and go right to adding new fills. So let's say add new fill. We'll do the blue over here. Pick this one, looks good. Okay, so there's our first fill. Now we're going to add another fill to this type. So it's kind of weird to think that something can have multiple fills, but it can. Let's click add new fill and we'll go to the yellow. So by default, it adds the same color, but we're going to come over here underneath that blue, and we'll add another fill that's yellow. Okay, now we can't see the yellow because the blue fill over here is hiding it. So let's apply an effect called offset path, which is going to make this yellow fill grow. So we can get to that right on the bottom here. Path, offset path. Now I have my units as points. It makes it much easier to manipulate this. So I like to put my cursor in the box there, and then I use my up and down arrow keys to increase the offset or decrease the offset. All right, so let's say okay. So now let's do another one. Let's do the orange. Okay, so let's add that orange fill. So just make sure this is selected. Come down to your Appearance panel, add new fill. So it made another yellow and put it up on top. But let's find an orange, and then we could restack this. So we can take this orange and sort of like using the layer panel, we could drag it down to the bottom here. Okay, there we go. So now we can't see it because, again, these other fills are hiding it, but it's there. So if I turn this off, you can see there it is. But let's do an offset path. So effect, path, offset. I think this is should be about 7. Say okay. Now the yellow actually made a mistake. This should be not so much. Let's make this 4 instead of 6. There we go. So that looks better. Okay, now we want to do the stroke. Now we already have a stroke here, so we can select that. Give it a white stroke. 1 point should be okay, I think. Now we have to give the stroke a shadow. So we just select only the stroke in the Appearance panel, and we go to Effects, Stylize, Drop Shadow. Oh, there we go. So these just happen to be a good setting that was here from the last time I used it. But you can manipulate the shadow with these sliders here. And also the blur. Sometimes when you turn it on, the blur might be too high and it looks invisible. So just bring the blur down. Sometimes I even bring it all the way down to 0 to make it easy to line up. But in this case, I think 1 point blur is good. Now we also need a blur on the orange part. This orange part also, a shadow. This orange part also has a shadow. So we can do the whole procedure again, or we could just steal an effect from one place to another. So we want to reuse this shadow here. Alt-click or Option-click with the Mac and drag this down to the orange fill. And you see like a little fist with a plus sign. And then let go. And it adds that same shadow to that layer. So now, if we want to do an effect like this arc, well, what you want to do, make sure this is selected. But now in your Appearance panel, make sure no fill or stroke in particular is selected. And it'll do this warp effect to the entire stack here. So let's make sure that's selected. Click in an empty area. Go to Effect, Warp, and I think this is just Arc. And then you can control this the way you want it. And we could say, okay. And that's it. So that's how you work. But, say you want to do this again. What you might want to do is create a graphic style. So just select the item that's using the appearance that you like. There we go. Go to your graphic style panel over here. Now this, I already have one from before, but let's make a new one just for fun. So we'll go to the menu here. We can say new graphic style, or we can click the new graphic style button down here. It goes in, but it doesn't have a name. So let's undo that. So when you see this little button here, you can alt click or option click with the Mac, and you'll get a dialog box. So we'll just call it, I don't know, type 2. Say OK. And there you go. So now if you want to reuse this, so we'll just make some type here. And we'll make it bigger. Now, when you make a graphic style, it does not remember the font. It's only going to remember the strokes and fills. So let's change this to a better type. So we'll just use Myriad Pro, only we do black. And now if you want to reuse these effects, just click on the graphic style. And there you go. Now, if you want to change the style, you can do that. So this guy and this guy is using the new one that we just made. So if you click on something that's using that appearance, go to the appearance panel. Let's say you want to change that orange to a different color. Let's change the color over here. Let's make it green. And now if you like that, you just go to the menu here, inside the appearance panel, and say redefine graphic style type 2. Now everything using that style will automatically update. So I hope you enjoy this and come up with your new effects and have fun. Okay, bye-bye. See you next time.